And here we go, man. We had to run into the studio because we were a little bit behind, had to get the computer started, but my God. Episode 2, Hard Knocks, is in the books. My name is Stick. Sitting here, we are doing the after party live right on the Woodward Sports Network. That is my man, Anson Wells. Anson, a lot to talk about. I literally got 2 pages of notes here from the entire episode, but I definitely want to talk about this. Definitely get everybody who's in the chat. I want to get your opinions on everything. Where do you want to begin? Do you want to begin at the end with David Blau, or do you want to just walk through the entire episode?
I mean, it started off with some Detroit love, giving us some history and a little vintage Billy Sims shot, even some terrible musical. How'd it go? They keep on trying. That's the best they can do, talking about the Lions. And nothing's really changed. But to be able to get that kind of background of Detroit, I really love the beginning of that. And before we really get into the game and what happened on Friday, I think that the main focus of this Lions team and of Hard Knocks right now is the change in culture right now. And we got a big buildup of that. That was really my favorite part was the Detroit love throughout this episode. Yeah,
it started out with that nice little montage talking about Detroit and how nice we are as a city, that weird Detroit 70s singing when they were celebrating all the teams. But really the first thing they talked about was the heavyweights guy, Malcolm Rodriguez. That was number 1 right off the bat. They started talking about him, how the coaching staff's excited about him. Yeah, they gave him the worst nickname I've ever heard in the history of my life.
Low level creativity.
Rodriguez to Rodrigo. There's no creativity there. You're literally keeping the same amount of syllables. Nicknames are supposed to be shorter, right?
But he deserves a nickname, and you don't really get him that quick as a rookie. The guy is mashing heads. He's making plays. It was exciting to get that much information and background on a 6th-round pick that we shouldn't even be talking about at this point. You know.
You gotta love Brad Holmes.
Excited about
Spence,
Rodrigo.
That's your guy too. I mean, you were sitting here watching the episode with us with a big ass smile on your face.
I'm geeked. I'm wearing the jersey tomorrow. It's gonna be out in full force. He already has nicknames though that are better. Grande Pape. Quadriguez, like the guy.
Quadriguez.
The guy is a
Quadriguez is it. That's the one.
Yeah, but I'm just so hyped to see it again because literally the day after he got drafted, me and Easy made a video breaking down his tape. It's at like 12,000 views from the Woodward Heavyweights channel, and we knew it. I saw him. I was like, this guy is like Nakobe Dean. Like everything you liked about Nakobe Dean, Malcolm Rodriguez is that. And we got seeing him. It here, oh man!
In the 6th round, we got him, and it was good to see him on Friday start off the game by making that tackle on the special teams. And you saw that later on. They went back to Rodrigo, and they were talking to him while he was in the linebacker room, saying and challenging all the other vets, like, "This rookie's outplaying you for your job. Do you want a job here? Well, don't let the rookie do it." And they're like, "Not to insult you, Rodrigo, but these guys need to step the hell up because you're all over them."
Yes,
very cool moment in the locker room there. And he was super humble about it. You didn't see a big emotional response out of him. You're just going to see him bury his head in the playbook and bury that helmet into some ass, man. This guy's out for some pain, man. He's delivering. I love this guy. And he's wearing 44. That's my number. You know that.
And I'm all about burying helmets and asses. That's just part
Kneecaps,
of it.
ass,
Whatever you got to do. So, I'm just running through my notes here. They showed Frank Ragnow fishing, which Frank Ragnow is known to fish.
There's a little boat, though, man. He's out there in a dinghy. Guy's got some loot, though.
He does have plenty of money. And then we get to Deuce Staley talking to the players. And this is what I love about Hard Knocks so far is us getting to see the relationship between the coaches and the players. Like, he's teasing them like, man, the only reason y'all got dates is y'all wearing that jersey.
Yeah, it's the truth. But I don't think that there's any other team that I could watch 5 episodes of just the coaches. I know they got into the players today finally, but I could watch 5 weeks of just Aaron Glenn and Deuce Staley and MCDC, of course,
Yeah, well, and then, of course, when Dan Campbell was talking to Hawkinson about his short shorts.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Really accentuates the ass cheeks.
Really accentuate the butt cheeks.
He got a lot of ass in that episode, man. He got a little smack on Chark as well. Mm-hmm. Getting a little fresh in there.
Hey, it's a tight-knit squad. That's what you do. You smack each other on the ass. The offensive dominated in practice. That's one thing I have in my notes. Do you think it's too easy for them in practice, though? Because it seemed like they were just hot knife through butter.
Yeah, the offensive line truly seems to be the strength of this team right now, and the defense truly seems to be the weak spot of this team right now. It looked that way in practice that we got a chance to see here in the episode, and it also looked that way on in game time on Friday. Hopefully that's going to make our defense better, but they're going to carve them up in practice if the defense can't figure out a way to stick with this offensive line. But I haven't seen an offensive line in Honolulu Blue move bodies like I have been this season. It's exciting.
Yeah, no, we had Lomas Brown on the bottom line, I believe, yesterday, and he was talking just about how these big fellas put in absolute work. So I'm excited about this offensive line. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Make sure you like this. Make sure you subscribe to Woodward Sports. We're up late doing the live broadcast. Last week was a lot of fun. This week we got Spencer doing the big stuff. And Spence, how are you feeling about this episode?
Oh, dude, I loved it.
Are you as hype about this episode as you were about the first one?
I'm more hype about this episode than I was the first one. Yeah, because it showed you the guys, I feel like they were tensed in the first episode. They were tense. They knew they were on camera. They're going. Now they're just doing the things. You see Aaron Glenn chirping with the players. You see Dan Campbell saying, "I'm going to lose it. If you're not paying attention to these guys, I'm gonna lose it." Everybody laughs at him. Like you see that family aspect. Yeah. You see Hutch and Charles Harris making handshakes. You see all these guys doing that. It is that close knit thing, and I love to see that out of this group.
Yeah. Dan Campbell talking about the 2 and 4 minute drills, like that's what's important to winning these games, and I love that he's stressing that so early in the season because he's right. I mean, that's where games are won and lost in the NFL. There's a salary cap for a reason. It's supposed to be spread out talent. They're supposed to be separated by a small margin. If you can win that 4 minute, 2 minute warning, you're winning.
Yeah. Well, and to touch on you asking Spencer about whether he was more excited for episode 2 or 1, I would have never thought I'd been more excited for episode 2, but they just teased us so bad in week 1. They only gave us the coaches. We got a little touch of Hutchinson and a little bit of Jay Will, but what we got today was really what we've been waiting for. And you dropped Lomas Brown earlier. He was paving the way for Barry Sanders, who we got a chance to see. And then that transitions right into DeAndre Swift. And I love when Deuce is pulling him aside and says, "You can be the best in this league." And he does have it in him. What we got a chance to see from him during the game and watching, Deuce kind of point out where he messed up and just seeing the look on everybody's face. Like, they want to get it. People aren't walking away from the huddles. They aren't frustrated. Stuff that you've seen in Lions pass over and over ad nauseum, it's just not there in this squad. There's a whole change in attention, focus, and tenacity.
One thing that scared the hell out of me, though, honestly, is DeAndre Swift's reaction to getting hyped up. Like, if my coach is telling me I can be the best in the league, telling me to gain every single yard, fight for those yards that are ours, I don't want this.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I didn't love that.
It's the same thing we saw from Rodrigo, though, and
not really. He was sitting like this. He was like engaged. Yeah. Like I don't know. I don't know DeAndre Swift. Never met the guy. He could be a very nice guy. He could be a very intense guy on the field. But he didn't seem like he had that dog.
Yeah, he seems very reserved, and the little bit that I have seen out of him since we've had him, we've never seen much emotion. We've never heard much from him. It was nice to see Jared Goff give a little bit of pep talks and some leadership today. But if he's going to run the rock and be one of those top 3 running backs in the league, he's going to need to step up emotionally in terms of leading this team on the field.
Yeah, and I don't want to read too much into one clip that I saw on Hard Knocks. I don't know. I expected him to be a little bit more engaged. Like with Deuce Staley just fires you up just by listening to that. That guy loves him some football. So when he's looking at you, telling you can be the best, sit up, man.
Yeah.
Take some pride in yourself. You can be the best. We're all rooting for you, Swift, and it's clear that he's going to be a big part of what they do.
Yeah. How terrified are you of losing some of these assistant coaches after this year?
No, I'm not. If we lose them, that means we actually did something.
True. I mean, I wish them all the best, but AG and Deuce, I love having them here, man. It's just it's great TV, but I think it's going to make for even better football.
One thing I skipped over, the Serpent of Death.
Yeah.
That we can't skip over that because he's like, bring over the Serpent of Death. We're all like, what the hell? Who the hell is that? And
Big Smooth, baby.
Josh Reynolds rolls over.
Mm-hmm.
Does that say more about what Josh Reynolds is going to be to this offense? Because when we're talking about our wide receiver core, he seems to get forgotten.
Yeah.
And he made all the difference last year. We can never understate that enough. He changed the entire receiver room. He brought life to the offense. And maybe, between his rapport and his, I guess, he's a little bit of a veteran here.
Yes.
We don't really have much in terms of veteran wide receivers. Maybe he's that voice in the receiver room that we definitely need.
Yeah, what do you think, Spence?
Yeah, I'm with Eds on that. He is that older guy. He is the voice in that room. He's been on those Super Bowl teams with Jared Goff. He's been on those playoff winning teams with Jared Goff. So first of all, they have the connection, just them two. But also, what Ed said, he brought it. He opened the offense when he came in here. We didn't have that kind of deep threat, and so to see him in there, to see him making plays, obviously, even at wide receiver 3 or 4, when J-Mo comes back, he's still going to get a lot of balls because that is Jared Goff's guy. They have that rapport.
I mean, he's the Serpent of Death.
Yes,
right.
That is the greatest nickname ever.
is
It's much
pretty
better
sick.
than Rodrigo.
Yes,
The Serpent of Death.
Yeah, losing Tyrell Williams last year was probably a blessing in disguise because we probably never bring in Reynolds otherwise.
Yeah.
But what I want to talk about is that St. Brown family, because I was really big on Equanimous a few years ago.
Yep.
When he came out, I thought he was a guy. I had seen a lot about their family, but I was a couple years early, and fortunately, the St. Brown to have in the NFL is right here in Detroit. It was cool to get that look. Mr. Universe. I mean, those guys got an edge growing up with him.
Not only an edge growing up with him, knowing every wide receiver that was drafted before you in all 4 rounds before you, enlisting them off just like the commissioner
With their
did when they
school,
were
man.
announced with their
Unreal.
school, naming all of them. And some of those names have already flamed out of the league, too.
Deep hunger, man. Real hunger.
I hate doing this because he's not Tom Brady, but it's very Tom Brady-esque.
It is.
Like Tom Brady
It
sat
is.
on, I'm a 6th-round pick for a long time. He's still bitching about it to this day. And the fact that Amon-Ra St. Brown sat there and named every single, and the order that they went in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And deliberate.
He's got a chip.
Deliberate. And I will never call him a smallish receiver again after seeing this episode.
he was looking yoked, man.
Yoked, bro.
It's impressive. Like you said, working out with Mr. Universe, 2-time Mr.
Yeah.
Universe since he was fresh out of the womb. Like the guy was ready to go. All of the nicknames were going crazy. And, we forgot about Funches Bunches of Oats. I have our live reaction to the Funches Bunches of Oats. If you guys want to see that.
Bunches of oats.
I love how all these dudes have nicknames. And a lot of people are talking about DeAndre Swift in the chat right now because I said he was being a little too lazy, and everybody's reminding me, well, Barry Sanders probably would have been the same when he was in. And that's a fair point. Not everybody is the same.
Great
I'm just
point.
saying what I would like to see. And I would have liked to see that out of Barry, too. Maybe Barry wouldn't have walked away from the game, had a little more hunger in him or whatever. Who knows? But, yeah, I understand that Barry Sanders was quiet. And listen, if DeAndre Swift is half of Barry Sanders, I will be the happiest boy in the land.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, we all will be.
That's
Absolutely.
like talking to DeAndre, listening to him, seeing him in person. That's who he is, though. He's very nonchalant, kind of even a shy guy. Like, obviously, I feel like it's kind of overshadowed because of how intense and in your face Deuce Staley is. Like, they're like polar opposites of each other.
Certainly.
So DeAndre still has that hunger for sure to be that guy, but he's just not going to go out there and scream in your face about it.
Man, Billy Sims, Barry, and Swift all in the same episode.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, what'd you think of Barry Sanders showing up to camp and saying that he could still run?
Well,
Behind that line, shit, I could run.
And they flat out, he's like, it was at Holmes, it's like, I ain't going to tell you no if you want to get back on the field.
Could you imagine that they suited him up for one play and just like ran Barry Sanders out on the
He would
field?
explode. His body would explode.
Touchdown.
Oh my God! Just an honorary play for Barry Sanders so he can retire the proper way.
I mean, I love him and Megatron. They've had similar exits, but very different endings in Detroit, at least thus far. I'm sad about both of them, the way that they ended. But Barry's been a lion since he ended. He's been around. Man, we used to see him in Pontiac back in the day.
Yeah.
Really, really great guy. And just to have him around, that presence of the little bit of greatness that we have seen here in Detroit, it's a good taste to give those guys early on in the process.
Yeah, happy to see it. Happy to see it working out. You know, you're getting Barry Sanders on there, and hopefully these guys know who the hell he is, because it's crazy how young these players are. But everybody knows who Barry Sanders is.
Certainly.
And watching those highlights that they were replaying, Spence, you said, my dad tells me about that one play every single day.
Every single day. Anytime we see anything Lions, it's, he was going against the Cowboys, and he goes into a crowd of people, you lose sight of him, and then he just pops out on the other end and runs for a touchdown. I'm like,
What a beautiful day that was.
I wish.
Win number 2.
beat the Cowboys.
Playoff win number 2 is coming soon. It is coming soon.
You heard it here first, folks. Anson Wells calling for the playoff win.
I think we win one by 2023.
That's next year.
I know.
By 2023 or in 2023?
Well, we could win one this year.
That's
2 seasons.
Bold prediction.
Well, you guys are throwing around 12 wins over there.
I don't know what you're talking about. I get a little hype watching this.
Talking about 14 the other day.
I said
or
if all
13.
If all things go right, I could run it.
I texted with just a 13 with a question mark. All right, my man.
I'm not all right. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, all of it.
Through his veins.
One thing I absolutely love, we already kind of talked about it, the coaching staff, and when Dan Campbell calls up Aaron Glenn and he gives his little speech, and they're just talking about how they trust each other and like, listen, I'll go to battle with that man and stuff like that. That just shows so much about the cohesiveness of that unit too. And attitude reflects leadership, and if our leaders are telling you they got each other's backs, you'd expect the teammates to do the same. And that's where Dan Campbell really started to go off about what would piss him off during that first preseason game. And it was,
not supporting.
Listen, you're already done with the game. We know you're not paying attention anymore. You're off looking into the stands. You're disrespecting your teammates. You got to trust them to have your back. And I just love that. That was the only thing he told them that would piss him off. That was it. Outside of that, do whatever the hell you want, but you're going to respect your teammates.
And that's top to bottom responsibility to your team. When you can't take plays off, even if you're not on the field. You got to be there for everybody else, and that's how we change the culture here. But you mentioned when he brought up AG for his speech, he touched on something that I thought was really, really important. Time to get that feeling back. And you see guys like Trevor Lawrence come in, who's really probably lost 3 games in the last 8 years of his professional career, whether in high school, college, and whatnot. And then you go and you get rocked and you lose 14, 15 games, however many they lost. Lions, for decades now, we've seen athlete after athlete, professional after professional, come in here not used to that losing, and they just have to get used to it. And he said it. He says, time to get that feeling back. And there was a levity in the room there when he was saying that, because there's a lot of guys in that Lions huddle in that locker room that they know exactly what he's talking about. They're losing, and they're losing in large doses for the first time in their career.
I mean, you don't make it to the NFL if you're usually on crappy teams. There's very few players that played on horrible college teams and made it to the NFL. Obviously, there's always exceptions to the rules.
Memphis.
Right, yeah. Memphis, they got a good offense, right? They got a good offense in Memphis. But yeah, I mean, these guys are perennial winners. They were probably the best on their little league team. They were the best in high school. They were one of the best in college, obviously. And now you get to the pros and you're just a dude.
Well, and as a Lion, there's a belief that you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And that's been around for as long as, since 92, basically. It feels like we're going to, last year the kick's going up, Justin Tucker, I turned a stick. I know that's going in.
Yeah, fuck that
and
kick,
these guys
man.
are all sitting in that huddle and they're at the end of that game on Friday, felt a little Lions-esque, you know? And it's time to get that feeling back.
Dan Campbell, or during the game, let's talk about the game before we get to Dan Campbell's speech at the end. DeAndre Swift, Deuce Staley was in his ass about going up the middle. Go up the middle. Go up the middle. Go up the middle. And this is one of those things where, you go from the coaching room where you're telling this guy, you're hyping him up, letting him know he can be the best, and then you're telling him exactly what you do. And then you had the moment I think we've all had in our life where he's showing him everything. Like, hey, man, here's, if you would have cut here. Like, we've all seen this in Madden. You replay it, you're like, oh, my God, if I press L1, I'm making the cut, right? But and then you see DeAndre Swift's face. It was just like,
doesn't say a word.
Can't say anything. He's right. He's right. He's right. He's right. So hopefully he's seeing like, hey, Deuce isn't just like doing this to yell at you.
Yeah.
There's a point to it.
Oh, he's getting him better. He's
Yeah.
gonna be, and you know, it's one thing if you got some scrawny assistant coach yelling in your face, stay inside, stay inside. My man, you've never ran inside in your life, but Deuce Staley made a living, a meal ticket on running inside and bashing brains in on from the offense. You know, that's the first guy that you got to listen to when he's telling you what to do, especially when DeAndre Swift's a finesse guy, and if he's going to be that top running back in the NFL, he's going to have to lower his head and get inside too.
Does it seem like Deuce Staley is the offensive coordinator?
Yes, we haven't. That's the one thing we haven't seen anything of Ben Johnson.
Anything?
No Ben Johnson at all, and that's
really,
what I wanted to see in this episode, really.
And no Dan Campbell calling the plays either.
Yeah.
It really looked like Deuce was calling the plays.
Mm-hmm. No, it's Ben Johnson calling it. The first episode, you saw him with the walkie-talkie calling a play, laughing in the background when AG and Deuce Staley are going at it, but. Yeah, they haven't put him on the screen for more than 10 seconds.
You know you're on Lions Hard Knocks when you're thirsting for more assistant coaching.
Yeah.
Give me Ben Johnson. I need Ben Johnson.
Where's the water boy at? Where's he at?
And then, switching to the other side of the ball, the Hutchinson saga.
Man. I was
And
hoping you were going to go there.
we have to go there. I mean, that was probably the fakest part of the episode, that little interview. Mom, this is what's going on at the game. We're here. And it's like, it's kind of like Michigan, but not really like Michigan. It's like, come on.
Seemed a bit rehearsed, but
it seemed very rehearsed.
they are an attractive family.
Hell yeah,
and
they
I
are.
think they actually might have gotten more airtime than Hutchinson on the field. But man, get the fuck off me, he says.
Yeah.
I love seeing that tenacity out of him. And you saw him, the guy's a quick study. Sure, he's a Wolverine. They're smart guys over there. He learned every single down.
Sorry, not to break. There's news on the TV right now. Patriots aren't naming offensive coordinator to replace Josh McDaniels.
Ooh.
Yeah,
They're
it's
Joe-
It was
Joe
supposed to be
Judge.
Patricia.
and
Now all of a sudden they're
Patricia,
not
huh?
naming one. He's like, no. Sorry, not to divert or bring up Matt Patricia at all, but that's just hilarious. You suck, Matt Patricia.
Yeah, he's probably looking for his four-wheeler
But yeah,
somewhere.
back to Aiden Hutchinson's family. This is going to become like the Clayton Kershaw, Matthew Stafford thing. We're going to see too much of this family.
Already over it.
I want to dislike them, even though I shouldn't, because I'm just getting consumed with them. Unless you're talking about the sister to the far left, we can watch her all day.
You said it.
I did say it.
Man,
What?
she fine.
But I'm not blind. Yeah.
Yep. No, I'm going to keep it right there because we might be running into these girls in Detroit at some point, but
I hope so.
could get a little
Oh, and I'm going to let
sickening.
the hot one know she's hot? Oh, no. I've already broken the ice. It's good now.
Those two are quickly going to become little local celebrities here in Detroit, especially after these episodes. But I think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of the Hutchinson family for another 3 weeks.
I don't want it to be fake like it was and staged like it was. Like, Hard Knocks seems to me like it's a pretty organic show. You're supposed to be seeing things, but they're sitting at the game. There's a cameraman 3 feet from their face like this.
But-
they're all wearing the same Hutchinson shirts. It's like,
See, I don't even think HBO coached them. I think the three of them were at home like, all right, what are we going to talk about this time? All right, make sure that we've all got our blue nails, girls. And, they each spent like 3 hours in the bathroom, and they're getting their time, man. They get their
but the
15 minutes.
editors
They're
don't
gonna
have
soak it
to
up.
put them in. They don't. Come
on, man. They're
Hutchinson
fine. You know
makes
they
the
put
play
them
in the backfield, and we're watching their reaction instead of Hutchinson making the play in the backfield. I'm like, what is going on?
No, I do appreciate him switching the black swatch from one side to the other, being a pro. That was pretty cool. But in terms of what we have on the defensive side of the ball from a top draft pick, finally is so exciting, and it's got to be striking some fear into the NFC Central or NFC North, excuse me. What we see out of him, are we going to see out of Jameson Williams? When's he making his appearance? That's who I want to see.
I mean, they said he's not going to be ready for regular season, so we won't even see him.
I'm talking about on Hard Knocks.
We'll never see him on Hard Knocks.
You don't think
you're
at all?
never gonna get a shot at Jameson on Hard Knocks.
Well, that hurts.
Yeah.
HBO, can we?
It's not going to happen, man. If we were in season, we may get it because he's not even going to play. I don't think he's eligible to play till like week two or 4.
Yeah,
right?
if he stays on the PUP list when the regular season starts, he has to sit out 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
And TJ Hawkinson on Bussin' with the Boys said he's not going to be in until halfway through the season.
That's what I'm saying. 7 games is about where I have him coming back. So yeah, Anson, I'm sorry. We're not going to get any Jamison Williams. But we haven't had any DJ Chark either.
No.
They showed a little bit of him week 1, but he was making diving catches in practice all week. They didn't highlight him. There's a couple other players that you really thought you'd see. I didn't see any of the offensive line besides Frank Ragnow fishing.
Again, a very small boat. Frank, upgrade that boat, bro.
Very small boat.
And
No Okuda either.
Nothing
no
on Okuda. And they didn't talk about how Goff requested to play quarterback in that game. Like, that's a storyline to me. Your quarterback's coming through to your coach saying, hey, the whole offensive line is playing. I want to play with them. That didn't make it in either.
I like seeing Goff step up a little bit here. He's a quiet guy. You don't see a lot of emotion out of him. You saw it towards the end of last season in a couple of those wins. But seeing him put his arm around Blau and some of the things that he did today, that's what we need. I never felt like we had that from Stafford. Stafford never stayed in there politicking with the refs. You didn't see him going around smacking helmets and stuff. I don't think that Goff is that guy, but we certainly need a little bit more of it from our quarterback.
Whoa. Dom Rivera, 88. Make a poll. Who are people sick of, the Hutchinson family or Jamal Williams? Nobody's sick of Jamal Williams,
what?
especially that joke at the end.
Did you say Dominic Raiola?
No, not Dominic Raiola. I'll fist fight you on my lawn. Dominic Raiola, that was one of the best Lions moments ever.
Oh, for sure.
Dominic Raiola used to get lit in Pontiac.
Dom was a good time.
Yeah, he used to party at Tonic with us all the time on Sunday nights. Yeah, good time. But no, come on. No, who doesn't like Jamal Williams?
I mean,
you see the joke at the end? What does James Bond taking a bath? What do you call it? Bubble 07?
07.
Like, come on, man. How do you hate this guy? He's dropping dad jokes.
I have a feeling we're going to be ending every one of these episodes with some J. Will.
You should. He's honestly.
A walking soundbite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he's a hell of a football player too. That's the crazy part about Jamal Williams.
And he loves anime, so that's my kind of guy.
Well, what are you guys looking forward to next week? Like, what would you like them to highlight next week?
A win.
All right. They're going to be in Indy all week long, so it's going to be like they're away at camp.
Yeah. That'll be great to see, because anytime that you get those, the in practice scrimmages, things get heated, but I want to see them finish a game unlike the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that they lost this last week just felt way too Lions-esque. I want to
Stop
see
with that.
I'm sorry.
SOL
okay,
crap.
well, you told me this is a good loss.
Yes.
I'll give you that. I need to see the step next week. Don't fumble in the last possession when you're up 3 or 4.
Who cares? That's our third string quarterback.
It's
like it really doesn't matter what David Blau does. It doesn't.
We get some blue Kool-Aid in this mother.
It doesn't matter what David Blau does. No.
Yes, it
if
does.
we bring in Mason Rudolph, it won't matter if he fumbles the fucking snap.
Time to get that feeling back. They didn't have that feeling at the end of the game. Okay? And whether it's your first or your third string or your sixth string water boy, we needed a W there in front of the fans. The excitement that's built. Hard Knocks. Come on, fellas. I mean, that's the win you need. I need to see it this coming week. I don't want to see Dan Campbell down. I don't want to see Blau, how you like me now, crying in his beautiful Colombian wife's arms. You know what I'm saying? She's fine.
She was fine as
She
hell.
was
Yeah.
fine. She fast, too.
She loves her some Blau,
She
though.
did. The way
She
she
loves
just
her.
looking
Just
at him.
gazing at that
I need some
fumbling
of that in my life.
motherfucker. Yeah.
Damn.
Gazing like, wow.
She just like
Told him she was proud of him? Like, you're proud of him? Like,
Yeah.
I want to hear her say, Blau, how you like me now.
She calls him Poppy. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Oh, we
some
got
of
the
these in the back.
Kool-Aid. He doesn't need any more of that, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up.
I need all the Kool-Aid I can get.
Tap it
What
in.
about you, Spence? What are you looking for next week?
I want more of this. No, I want more Ben Johnson. I want more Jared Goff.
We're asking for assistant coaches.
Hell yeah. While we're chugging Kool-Aid,
I
brother.
want to see Ben Johnson implementing his offense, how he did that. I want to see Jared Goff being that leader everybody says he's been, taking control of this team, being the leader on the team, and I want to see some fights. I want to see some fights in Indy. I want to see them going at it with those guys on the Colts, because the Colts are a pretty good team. They're like a quarterback away from being a contender, so they've got some talent over there. I want to see Rodrigo stuff stuff Jonathan Taylor in the hole. Just put him in the dirt.
That means Rodrigo's running
Break
with the
his ankle.
starters.
Yeah, he's been running with the ones a lot.
I see Taylor getting hurt. this week.
Oh, I thought Taylor Decker. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Shut up.
I'm talking about the running back, boy. Your favorite.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor is an absolute beast.
He's a monster.
I am looking for some fights during the practice, the cross-team practices, and I love that they're doing this. I love that they're going on the road and spending a whole week there. I think you all can remember doing that during camp when you were in high school and having fun. But yeah, some fight, and I want to get back to the big nasties. Like, we didn't get a lot of the big nasties this week, and to me, that's all I'm watching this year. When I was watching the preseason game, I went back and rewatched it 4 times, and I watched the line and a different person on the line pretty much every single time.
Yeah.
Because that's the key. That's the key to this whole thing. So I really want them to focus more on the line, and it would be nice to see a win. You are right, Anson.
Yeah, the culture change seems to be there. It seems like a big, unstoppable wave that's kind of washing over this entire team and the city. It just didn't happen the way that we all thought it was going to happen, and it wasn't a bad loss, or it was just too eerie for me. It was too Lions-esque, and they've got to erase those types of endings to games. What we saw out of them towards the end of the season last year was them winning those games, and that's not what we're used to. We got to change that mentality where these guys come into the game and come into that last 4 or 5 minutes like, we're going to win this game. You heard the coaching staff like, I want to go score a touchdown. I don't want to just
But you heard
the
Blau
ball.
say the same thing. Let's put our stamp on it and show them what we really are, and then he fumbled the ball. Like, that's why I'm saying, I can't get too emotional about that loss, because if this was a regular season loss and that was Goff blowing it at the end, hell yeah, I'm going nuts, right?
Sure.
But this was our third stringer. It happens. That's why he's on the third string.
Yeah. One of the coolest parts of the episode for me today was seeing the Blau family. And, if you're an athlete, anything in life, you've had failures, and he's on one of the biggest stages in the world, and he's got this lovely athlete wife as well, and just seeing the high and low that she lived with him there was something that you don't get to experience as a fan. Seeing that firsthand was pretty cool.
Yeah, one thing somebody just brought up, Matt Ryan is going to eat our secondary alive. That is something that's going to be interesting to watch this week, because obviously Marcus Mariota was a mobile quarterback, Ritter semi-mobile. Matt Ryan is not a mobile quarterback,
No.
so it's going to be interesting to see how our defense handles that, because we don't have to worry about the scramble like we did this past week, and that seemed to cause us a lot of issues. That's how they scored their opening touchdown.
Yeah, and they've got Michael Pittman, who's a legitimate possession receiver.
Yeah.
Paris Campbell, who's been flashing big time, and then my guy,
Mo
the
Alley?
next Cooper Kupp, Mr. Alec Pierce, is gonna show Detroit what he's all about.
I thought you were going to say Tom Kennedy.
Who?
What?
Cotton Kennedy?
You don't know Tom Kennedy?
Oh, it's like Cotton Kennedy sounds like a 1980s basketball coach.
Cotton Kennedy brings the Philadelphia 76ers into the World Championship.
Cotton Kennedy. Also, yeah, we'll stop there. Make sure you join Anson and myself. We're going to be at the Brass Rail doing post-game shows live again this year for every Lions away and home games. We'll be at the Brass Rail, so make sure you stop by there. We're going to be doing the Hard Knocks after parties pretty much for the rest of Hard Knocks. There's only 3 episodes left, which sucks.
I know.
I want more. I want more. This episode, I thought, left me a little bit lacking.
Yeah,
I didn't get as jacked up watching this episode as I did the last one.
It's because we lost.
Yeah, I don't know if that was it.
I think it is.
Okay.
You're going to be jacked next week when we're 1-1 in the preseason.
Hell yeah. I mean, we were 4-0 in the preseason, 1-0-16. I don't care about the preseason. Stay healthy. That's all I care about. Starters stay healthy.
Yeah, that's a huge point. We've been very blessed so far. I think our depth is there to where we could handle that, but we have some key cogs in this offense and defense that we cannot afford to lose, man.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us a late night right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Make sure you make sure you subscribe, make sure you wake up tomorrow and watch Adam. I'm sure he's going to have some opinions on this Hard Knocks episode. And thank you guys for everything. We're here for you Lions fans, hanging out late night with us. We appreciate you. We will see you next Tuesday night at 11 p.m.
007.
007. I love Jamal Williams.